Hey guys, Caleb here with a quick review for the movie Bird Box. This is a new release on Netflix. It is Christmas morning, and this is how I like to spend my Christmas morning at 4 a.m. when I can't sleep, to watch a straight-to-Netflix horror film instead of a Christmas film. The thing is, I've heard so much buzz about this movie. This is like the most talked about movie on my Facebook timeline or news feed or whatever, and I've had a lot of people tell me, hey, you need to watch Bird Box. And I really do like horror movies, and I will give any horror movie a chance. So I gave it a chance today, and first off, like, huge positive out of the way here. Sandra Bullock is amazing in this movie. Like, she puts this movie in a backpack and she carries the movie. Not to say everybody else in the movie isn't good, because that's not true. Trevante Rhodes, very good. I like him a lot. I even liked him a lot in The Predator earlier this year. I don't think anybody liked that movie, but I liked him a lot. Good to see him get more roles after Moonlight. And John Malkovich is probably at his most John Malkovich-y, just really hamming it up, for better or for worse. And that's one of my actually biggest problems with the movie, is that I think it has two conflicting tones. The movie is set up into two different parts narratively. It flashes back to show how this thing started, this epidemic, and see where they're at now, and then it goes to present time where they're on a river, Sandra Bullock and two kids, and it just shows them on this journey. We're not quite sure where they're going, but the two conflicting tones to me are that at parts it's a really serious thriller, particularly when they're on the river. While I don't think the movie is necessarily all that well directed, I do think some of the cinematography here is amazing, and the scenes on the river are beautifully shot, and probably the most thrilling aspect of the movie. But when the movie also tries to be serious, there's this really B-movie-esque tone, especially with that John Malkovich character. And not to mention, this movie is reminiscent of M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Happening, which is a really, really dumb, really bad movie. A lot of people panned it. I kind of enjoy it for what it is. But that's also a movie about something that's causing people to kill themselves. So I guess people in this movie see this creature, and it makes them kill themselves. But it's really goofy to see people kill themselves immediately whenever we're not given that much of a reason, which I'm not one to ask for too much. I'm glad the movie wasn't just one big like exposition dump the whole movie, but the way they handle it is kind of goofy. The people killing themselves, that aspect of the movie was not thrilling or scary at all. But Sandra Bullock, yet again, carries this movie. You see the fear. You can't see it in her eyes because she has a blindfold on through 60% of the movie. But yeah, I like the movie. I thought it was a decent little B movie. I'd be a lot more harsher on it, I think, if it was released in theaters. But because it's a straight-to-Netflix movie, I will be a little bit lighter on it. But go back to some of my complaints with the movie. I think this movie would have succeeded much better as like a 6-episode miniseries. You could have really dove into this. There's a whole other aspect to the movie that I don't even know if they're going into it in the trailers, because I have not watched the trailer for this movie. There's a whole other thing going on in this movie that we don't know much about, and it plays a pretty big part in the final third, a pretty big moment, a significant moment, and we're just sort of like expected to know exactly what that's about, and we're supposed to feel something. And not to mention, the movie tries to earn emotional moments, and it's just kind of embarrassing because the only character we really know is Sandra Bullock. So when anybody else dies or comes close to dying, we're just like, yeah, whatever, this is just a B movie, stop trying to be emotional. But the climax is pretty exciting up until the end, when the movie kind of gets drenched in sentimentality, and this is not the movie for that. A movie that really did this sort of concept a lot better earlier this year was A Quiet Place, which had about 5 seconds of movie that didn't fit in with the rest of the tone of the movie, where this movie is 50-50. 50% of the movie feels like a horror thriller that's taking itself serious, and the other 50% is just kind of goofy. But yeah, I had no regrets watching the movie. I started it, I thought maybe I'd turn it off, and I was really intrigued in what it was. It was an interesting story. I just didn't think it was all that amazing. I think there's a reason it was straight to Netflix. But yeah, it's on Netflix. It's an easy watch at 2 hours. Like I said, at 2 hours it kind of flies by because you kind of want to see more, because this is a really interesting concept So I really wish they would have made this like a 6-episode miniseries, but they didn't, and this is what we got. If you're watching this on Christmas, I want to wish you a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays. And if you agreed with my review, please leave a comment below, and if you didn't agree with my review, please leave a comment below, and thank you for watching.